It's great weather. Guys are in good moods, determined moods. We'll get through it.
Coach,
Sounds like you're looking, just to follow up, more in terms of forward as opposed to backwards and getting ready for Saturday.
A lot of the stuff we're doing is, focused on our attacking movements because we haven't scored in three games. But there is some component of defending in there. Like today, we just touched on a little bit, what were we good at earlier in the year? We were good at transition. How do you start transition? You start transition by good defending and defending higher up the field. So there's lots of different components that'll help us get on track to score goals. So we're trying to unlock as much of those as possible.
Miscommunication when we're upfield in terms of figuring out.
Well, communication is one, just the drive, the compactness. I mean, there's a lot of components to pressing higher up the field too. So,
Coach, it seems like there's always a moment in the season where there could be a slump, but you always come out successful. You always get to the playoffs. How do you balance being confident on what's always worked, but also trying to get something done to get him out of that slump?
well, what I would say is each year is different. It's not automatic that we can just say, okay, we're in a bit of a rut and we're automatically going to come out of it. It requires hard work, it requires dedication, it requires good coaching, everybody participating. So that again is a overall club thing that we have to get back to, some of the basics, making sure we get those right, and then trying to work on new and different ways to be a little bit more creative in front of goal.
You talked about getting back to being good in transition. Are you seeing the teams defending or doing different things to counteract your ability to transition?
No, I don't think we've been making plays. I mean, there's so many times when we have won the ball and, the final pass isn't there, or, guy's pressure and he bumps it back and then we go that side, but we didn't see this run over here. I mean, there's lots of different reasons for it. I just think earlier in the year we were moving pretty good, so we got to get back to that as well.
How much of that is maybe that first pass once you regain possession? I mean, JP is a huge aspect that you don't have that was important for that transition, but how can you better that?
Nico, that's a good question, because the first pass is always better if it goes forward. If you can break or release that initial pressure, because most teams counter press. So if you can push that pass forward, or it's a square pass where the next guy plays forward, you're in a way better situation to start your transition moments. So that pass is critical. If the guys have been defending for 2-3 minutes, they're tired, the ball's at their feet, they turn and pass it back to the goalkeeper, that's an invitation for the opponent to press you even more.
Is that square pass missing there that more often than you'd like it to be?
Well, I think whether they see it, number one, whether they accomplish the technical piece, and again, the tactical piece of, okay, if I'm a defender and I'm playing with Albert or Nico or anybody, Danny Leva in that part of the field, my job is to defend well, and then I know when I get the ball, I'm going to find one of those guys who can connect the next pass.
And you know that Robin Fraser is probably listening to this, thinking about how do we work to defend all these comments. Yeah, you get to coach against the coach against the comments here. How does that process work with your coaching staff and your brain trying to know exactly what they're going to be talking
Robert, Robin is a good coach, okay? He knows our team fairly well. I'm not so sure that a couple sound bites is really going to change what he does. He's looked at our team in depth. He knows Jordan, he knows Christian, he knows Nico, he knows Steph, he knows he knows our team. So,
and on that, more looking back to Colorado, really, can you take anything from the previous matchup, from what they produced and what you guys can get ready for?
No, I remember it was disappointing, but we've moved past that. We're trying to get back again. The way I would answer it, because you're always asking me about Colorado. What I'm going to say to you, Jackson, is that the most critical piece for us is, yes, to be aware of our opponent, understand their strengths and weaknesses. That is correct. But I still believe that the best way for us to get out of this is to go back to being who we are and executing the things we do well in games. That will help us get out of this, mini slump.
It seems like Colorado does a lot of rotating. Sometimes it's Diego Rubio, sometimes it's Sardes, the same in the midfield. Is that difficult to kind of scout?
Well, Rubio is difficult because he's always been kind of a tricky player. He's got a little bit of a nasty edge to him. He's got 9 goals this year. I mean, Zardes is a quality player. So, I mean, it's a good squad. They're defending. Abakar is good. I mean, it's a good squad.
Going back to your previous answer, are you sensing a lack of confidence, or is it just more the tired legs and just need to kind of? Sorry.
I think we've played 30 games already, and the national team guys have been going since January 5, and I think we look a little tired. We're trying to change our training a little bit, make sure the intensity's high, but the duration and the mileage is short, and we'll see if we can come out of it.
You have your softball question. You're playing home, and how much does that help?
It's always good to play at home. Big crowd, Saturday night. It'll be good.
Going back to your question about answer there about changing training, we're getting into some high temps, mid 90s next week. Does that change anything for preparation?
Yeah, that's common sense. What I'm talking about is actually, making sure that the sports science guys, and when we as coaches plan the training, that the volume is lower, but the intensity is higher. So in the exercises that we do, that's the objective. And the heat and whatever, it's still Seattle. I mean, 90s, but it's nice out here. I mean, if we were in Dallas or who had 115, I don't know, somebody, global warming. I mean, it's 115 degrees somewhere in this country.
Coach, before Chicago, you kind of mentioned something about, or we took it as that maybe you were expecting Obed to be back at some point before the season. I just wanted to see if there was anything that you know.
Nothing new on there.
He's getting.
He gets assessed every couple of weeks. That's going to heal when it heals. I'd love for him to be back.
How about Raul Ruidiaz? Any new sense on him?
I think you know everything you need to know about Raul.